Good day and welcome to the Sport Rep Show. I am your host Jesse Jackson Kauraitha, updating you on the latest sports news. And now for your latest on the hit list. Many former Namibia Premier League football players have resorted to playing federation soccer and local tournaments for the sake of keeping fit. Some of the players who are also part of the national team setup say they have no choice but to risk an injury at a local tournament, given that football has been on the hull due to a lack of sponsorships and infightings. The players hope that the infightings will be resolved and players will start again. The Khomas Netball Region League is set to kick off in Windhoek this weekend, with several teams rearing for a successful season. The first match of the season will be between NAST and Wanderers at the Wanderers Sports Field on Friday, that's at 18:30 on Court A, while Court B will host a match between NDF Windhoek and Namibia. The rest of the matches will continue on Saturday at the Rehoboth and Windhoek. The netball region consists of 17 clubs and over 30 teams affiliated to it. The region also boasts 3 professional clubs in the MTC Namibia Premier League. The Khomas Netball Region Chairperson Dimitri Bittler had this to say.
Well, the chairperson that is of the Khomas Netball Region, a new chairperson, indeed well deserved. You have been around in that netball industry. Well, this weekend we start with the season. How exciting is it, and how ready is the whole Khomas Netball region to host this new season?
Well, it's been a very hectic 2 weeks of planning with the new committee just coming in place. But we are very fortunate the previous regime have at least put a lot of things in place. So we didn't have to do that much, but it was still a whole mountain of admin work to sort out to be ready for this coming weekend. Apart from that, I think it will be very exciting to see all the players back on the field. It will also be exciting to see the new teams that are in the league. So there's a lot of things to look forward to this coming weekend. So we're definitely feeling great about this weekend.
Yes, you have a new role. Mostly you have been at the top of organizing all these already. Being now you are at the chairperson, and everything will be asked to you. So in terms of teams being ready, making sure that the fields are actually well prepared and all that, how do we look at that? Because I understand this weekend it starts at the Wanderers sports field. The logistics, are they in place, the field?
Well, I must say I have a great team that I'm working with. Although they're new, they're willing to learn, they're willing to do the extra mile and go the extra mile. Unfortunately, the time frame was very short for us to really put everything 100% the way we wanted, or the way we are planning for us to host the games. But apart from that, I think we are definitely ready. Courts are ready, they've been booked, the teams have been notified. So I think everything is in place in that regard. It's just some parts that we want to introduce into the game that are not 100% ready yet, but obviously it's due to time that we still waiting for responses from certain individuals.
Okay. There is, of course, you're part of the AfroCat Lions as well. Will this not clash in any way?
Well, it has not clashed over the last 4 years that I've been part of the executive committee. I don't think it should clash. We've actually appointed also coaches that I'm grooming on the club level in order not to clash that much with anything. But in the past it never clashed, and hopefully it shouldn't be an issue this season.
Oh, wonderful. Do you any word to the crowds what they can expect in terms of the quality of netball from all the teams that will be playing, especially this opening weekend?
Well, as it's been in the past, Khomas is one of the strongest leagues in the region, one of the biggest leagues in the region. We can boast with over 32 teams participating, over 3 leagues, 3 divisions that we have. So definitely competitiveness is there. That is the one. You can see how our teams are doing in the MTC league, meaning our competitiveness is definitely going to be there. It's also a new platform for people to come market themselves. You know, if you want to come on board, come market yourself through these events, it's very possible. But also the crowds that are going to be there, please make sure we follow the health protocols, which is 500. Hopefully we don't have more than that. The number of 500 on Saturday. But overall, it's fun, and let's support the ladies. You know, the husbands at home and the kids. Come support your mom, your aunt, your sister on the court. Soon we'll also be supporting our brothers and fathers. So it's going to be a change.
History in the making as well.
History in the making. Soon we're going to be supporting our brothers, fathers, mothers. So it's going to be a whole family affair very soon. So just come out and come give your support, clap your hands for them, and shout where you want to shout. It's going to be a lot of fun though.
Okay, so this weekend, where are the matches?
The matches are Friday. We are at Wanderers Sports Field. Friday night. There's only one round on Friday night. And then on Saturday we have now a full day at Israel Patrick Iyambo Police College in Olympia. That's where the games are going to take place from 12 until late in the afternoon.
Thank you so much, Dimitri.
Pleasure.
Welcome back. That was Dimitri Bitler. We hope that it is going to be indeed an exciting weekend of netball action. Well, the Erongo Region Sports Officer Bethel Karumendu is pleading with the business community to assist long-distance runner rising 800-meter sensation David Dam in his quest to compete at events outside Namibia. Namibia are on the verge of producing a global sensation by the name of David Dam, Bethel Karumendu says. Dam, who was born in Grootfontein, has been dominating the 800 and 1,500 meter races in the country. We will now go for a short break, and after the break, we introduce you to That's the Hard Talk. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Well, it is the sharpshooter, the hard talk, as we say it in simple terms. Well, today the sharpshooter chats to former Khomas Boxing Federation chairperson Jason Naule about the challenges in amateur boxing as well as senior boxing in the regions, and what needs to be done to address them. Naule currently serves that's on the boxing board. This is what Naule had to say.
I'm joined here, that's by Tax Naule, sitting that's on the Namibia Professional Boxing Control Board. Mr. Naule, welcome to the Sport Rep Show.
Thank you very much, Jesse.
All right. I know that, well, there has been a lot going on in boxing in terms of development on all that. Well, the Hard Talk is interested to know from you as a person that has sat on various boxing boards, including as well as being the chairman, former chairman of that's the Khomas Boxing Federation. Would you say you're happy with the development of boxing as a whole in Namibia?
Well, thank you very much for the question. It's a very good question. Well, I first must start is we have been going through a very difficult time, having gone through the pandemic and all. with all the regulations that were put in place. I think, to be fair, right now will not be really a good time to judge on whether the state of boxing is fine or not. But all I can say, everything looks to be well. The only challenge is that because of the regulations, we could not be hosting a lot of tournaments as one would want to be. And I think also with the amateur, they are having the same challenge because corporates are suffering, and amateur is really one of the sport codes that depend wholly on a sponsorship, and it's very difficult to get sponsorship on the amateur rank because number one, the sponsorships want to have leverage. They want to have an amateur is one of the sport codes that you will not really have a packed venue as the sponsorship will want to. So it's not really fair for me to say they are not fine or not, but all I know is that they are in capable hands, because the person that is in charge now was a vice chairperson, so it's a person that we were working together with, and I'm sure if they do not deviate from how we were doing things, they might be in good hands. So I think it's only fair to give them a chance, probably with the realization of some of these measures. Maybe we might see progress, but overall, boxing in Namibia, I think it's the #1 sport code. That is according to me.
According to you, yes.
Yeah.
You have mentioned one thing and stating that it is the #1 sport code. We have things like football as well. We have seen a lot of infightings. Have those really not crippled into boxing? Is it one of the reasons why? Because we haven't seen much of it as we've seen in football and several sport codes. Could that be one of the reasons why boxing has always been at the top?
Well, I must say it's just that you cannot blow your own horn also at times, because I can't really praise and say boxing does not have issues. Every house has got issues. It depends on how you deal with them. But I really think I need to thank #1 the leadership of sports, which is the Ministry of Sports, especially the minister and her deputy, for a way in which they have been leading the industry. I think in this difficult time, we have really seen how they have been able to help the situation by always consulting when it comes to these regulations, because sport hasn't really been crippled to the ground. There were activities here and there, and that is something that is really worth thanking. On the issue of infighting, I think the cultures that various African cultures that we have, they always say, even though you are fighting at home, you don't bring your fight outside. And I think that is something that we need to really work on as people. I think all the sport codes, they have their own fights, internal fights, but it depends on whether do they bring them outside for everybody to see that they are fighting. That is the problem. Because all the houses have got their own internal fights.
Yes, that's one of the things that you really emphasize on. It's that all houses have problems. I know that you currently sit that's on the boxing board, but in terms of let's say boxers being taken care of, money-wise and all that, how do you rate that as a country? Where are we as a country in terms of remunerating boxers?
Well, Jesse, I hope we don't dwell into a lot of issues regarding the control board, because remember, I have a chairperson.
Yes.
I think the chairperson will be the right person to talk to about these things. But all I can say from my personal perspective, currently now, with the difficult financial times that our country is going through, I think the boxers are well remunerated, they are well paid. It's just that one will not want to compare your boxers with the American boxers.
Yes.
This is totally two different. let's try and compare maybe Namibia with other African countries. Then you'll see that Namibia in Africa, it's one of the best countries when it comes to boxing, besides South Africa and Nigeria.
Okay, one last one before we conclude. Where do you want to see boxing, Mr. Naule? Where do you want to see boxing in Namibia as a whole, let's say in the next year or so?
One will actually, I always have an issue. It is something that is very close to my heart. And I really think that capacity building is something that really needs to be done countrywide, because you have an issue with, as a country, we have an issue with rural-urban migration, people moving to urban areas, and I don't want boxing to be one of the causes of that, because you have a 16-year-old that is probably in a rural area in Rundu or in Kavango or in the South Karas, but they think that the only way for me to progress is coming to Windhoek. That is something that I don't want to see. I would actually want to have, if I can have a promoter in each region that is there to make sure that boxers that are in that region are well taken care of. Okay. It will be one of
the things, all the witches, achievement. Okay, thank you so much, Tax.
Yeah.
Welcome back. That was Jason Tax Naule. He's a former boxer himself back in the days. Well, Tax retired to go into administration, and he has been serving on several boards for a number of years. Tax, of course, hopes that boxing will grow, stating the fact that COVID-19 has actually affected the boxing industry as well. Well, Tax, we hope that as the person that sits on the boxing board, you guys will be able to influence more and bring more influence into boxing in order for it to grow as well. We will now cross over to our international correspondent, Ari Ohar, for the next on international news.
The space between having a dream and making it a reality is massive. And when your dream is to build a quality network for Africa, that space gets even bigger. Paratus' dream for Pan-African network began years ago. Starting with a single PC using dial-up internet, it eventually grew to become ITN, a Windhoek-based network company that laid the foundations of what Paratus is today.
Starting a network company wasn't easy, but we knew if we persevered, we'd be able to achieve our dreams. During the early stages, and still today, any new customer we get is an accomplishment. Currently, we have physical presence in 6 African countries and provide our services to 28 countries in total. We are not bound by limits.
In 2014, Paratus was born, and the vision of creating an all-African network was becoming a reality. Paratus was highly dependent on third-party infrastructure. That was fine at first, but they soon realized that such dependency would only limit their growth. Their goal was to provide Africa with tomorrow's technology today, not tomorrow. With that goal in mind, they risked it all. Investing in various network and radio access technologies, they established their own independent infrastructure, opening a world of limitless opportunities. One of these opportunities was the Trans-Kalahari Fiber Project, a fiber network line that stretched across Namibia, providing connectivity from Swakopmund in the west to the Botswana border in the east. But the word limit doesn't exist in Paratus' vocabulary, so they extended the line even further, passing it through Botswana to Zambia and South Africa. 4 countries now enjoyed the same quality, high-speed connectivity. Then they threw out the rulebook and made history by extending the line up to Tanzania and later Mozambique. Paratus became the first ever network operator to connect Africa's east and west coast, twice. Whoever said impossible is nothing was right.
Paratus isn't Namibia's oldest or biggest network, and our focus isn't on size. Our focus is on real value and real service for our customers. Developing improved network technologies puts us ahead of the competition, but it's our unparalleled quality client service that keeps us in front. Joining the Paratus network means joining a true Pan-African family. We have almost 20 years experience in class-leading technological advancements and deployments. Building a quality network in Africa is just the beginning. The best is yet to come.
Good day everyone, it's time for international sport, and we start off with the Cricket World Cup for women that's taking place in New Zealand at the moment. It's a 50-over tournament, and the news from the tournament is that the West Indies, they secured another big win in the tournament. They beat England by 7 runs, and early in the tournament, in the opening game actually, the West Indies played against New Zealand, the host, and they beat them also in the first game. So 2 great wins, big wins for the West Indies in the opening rounds of the round robin. For what happened in the game was that the West Indies, they batted first. They made 225 for the loss of 6 wickets in their allotted 50 overs. And then England were bowled out for 219 in their chase for the runs. England have a difficult task now to qualify, as only top 4 of the 8 teams will go through to the semi-finals, and England's next game will be against South Africa. That will be on Monday, and South Africa first have to play Pakistan, and that game will be on Friday. The England men's team, they're currently touring in the West Indies, and the 5-day test started in Antigua, and day 1 it was England that batted first. They ended the day on 268 for the loss of 6 wickets. They were in trouble earlier, but then a good innings by Johnny Bairstow. He made 109 unbeaten runs, and he will continue batting on day 2. Another 5-day test taking place in the men's circuit is Australia that played against Pakistan. It was in Rawalpindi, quite a flat pitch, and lots of runs, not many wickets. It ended in a draw, and the second test between Australia and Pakistan, that will be played in Karachi, and that will start on Saturday. And now tennis news, and it's Novak Djokovic, the world number 2, that's in the news again. He entered the Indian Wells tennis tournament that's going to be played in California. It's part of the Masters series, and that is despite not being vaccinated. So the US regulations at the moment is that non-US citizens need to be vaccinated to enter the country. So there's no news from the US government at the moment, but at the moment, as it stands, Novak Djokovic is in the draw. He's the 2nd seed, and he's got a bye in the first round. So it will still be seen if the US authorities will allow Novak Djokovic to play in the Indian Wells tournament. Other tennis news is that the world number 3, that's Alexander Zverev, he's been handed a suspended 8-week ban, and that was for incident at the Mexican Open where he hit the umpire's chair with his racket. So that effectively means if he transgresses in the same way in future, he will be handed an 8-week ban, and then he might miss tournaments like the French Open or Wimbledon. Now we continue with some cycling news. It is the Paris-Nice cycle tour that's taking place at the moment. It was stage 3. It was quite a flat stage. There was 1 or 2 hills that they had to go over, but it came down to a sprint, and in the end it was Mats Petersen of Norway. He won in 4 hours 23 minutes. In second place was Brian Coquart of France, and then in third place was Wout van Aert of Belgium. In the general classifications, it is still Christopher Laporte of France that is the leader. He actually had a fall with less than 500 meters to go in stage 3, but the rules are if you fall within the last 500 meters of the finish line, you get the time of the peloton. So Laporte is still leading. His combined time is 14 hours 34 minutes at the moment. He's just 1 second ahead of Wout van Aert of Belgium, and then in third place it is Primož Roglič. He is in third position at the moment. The 4th stage will be a time trial, a shorter time trial that will be over 13.4 kilometers. And now to conclude the international sports news, we go to some football news or some soccer news. It was Champions League action in the week, and it was Liverpool that hosted Inter Milan, and it was a loss for Liverpool. They lost at home by 1-0, but they carried an aggregate of 2-0 into this game after they beat the Italians in the first leg by 2-0. So on aggregate, it was Liverpool that went through to the semi-final of the Champions League by 2-1. Another Champions League game that was played was Bayern Munich that played in Munich against Salzburg. They were way too strong and they beat Salzburg by 7-1. The first leg was 1-1 in Salzburg, but aggregate is 8-2 in favor of Bayern Munich, and they also go through to the semi-final. So it is 4 very strong teams that will go through to the Champions League semi-finals. Liverpool and Bayern Munich already confirmed. Manchester City, they're holding a 5-0 aggregate, that is against Sporting, so they will probably go through as well very easily. And then the 4th position will be between the winner of PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, and also Real Madrid. So 4 strong teams that will be in the semi-finals of the Champions League. So that's the sporting news, international sports news for today. Hope you have a great day. We talk again tomorrow. All the best. Bye-bye.
While Namibia and its cities are seen as one of the cleanest countries in Africa, plastic pollution is a big problem. Therefore, it's up to each of us to do what we can to reduce the use of plastic, especially single-use plastic bags. At Liberty Life Namibia, we've taken the decision to turn all our old branding items into reusable shopping bags. It's a way in which we can drive sustainability and look after our most important stakeholder, our environment. If you also believe in sustainability and would like more information, please get in touch. Liberty Life Namibia. In it with you.
Welcome back. That was from Ari Hogat from South Africa, actually. That is all we had to you. Catch us tomorrow again at the same place, same time. Bye for now.